Alright, hello guys and welcome back to another cryptocurrency related video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about our Bitcoin mine that we have in our garage, and I'm going to be doing a payout to all of our investors. So I'm just going to be showing you the entire process of that. And the first thing I'm going to do is head outside and show you exactly the miners that I am talking about. Alright, so I'm just doing a little bit of voiceover for this B-roll right here. So we're here in my garage. I know that's a meme, but these are our two Antminer L3 pluses. We've got them on a nice steel shelf that I got from Canadian Tire for a heavy discount. In the back here we have our networking switch, which controls all the internet connections going from our garage into our house. In the center there is our power supply, which I got off eBay, and these are our two miners that are making us around 30 bucks Canadian a day. So the first thing I do when I'm about to make a payout to our investors in the cryptocurrency mine is I go over to our Electrum wallet. Now this is the wallet that I have on our computer here that is taking all the deposits from the mining pools and putting them in one convenient location where I know exactly how much Bitcoin is being generated from just those two miners. So as you can see here, we have 0.1095 Bitcoin, which is about 1,350 Canadian dollars. Now, to minimize transaction and trading fees, I only make a payout when I think we have enough money in the wallet here for it to be worth going through and doing all the accounting, sending some of the Bitcoin to an exchange because some of our investors want just Canadian dollars to be paid out to them, and then sending the Bitcoin to our other investors and myself to my personal wallet. So $1,300 Canadian, and the reduced transaction fees that we've seen with Bitcoin in the past few weeks. I think it's about time that we do a payout so that I'm not holding all the Bitcoin here in one wallet where there's a chance it could get stolen, and therefore I'd be less liable. So let's go ahead and distribute this Bitcoin to our investors. So what I've set up here is a transparent payment tracker. Now all of our investors have access to this spreadsheet. There's only 4 of them, so it's not too mmany people to look at it. But before, when we were mining on NiceHash, I was putting in daily amounts of Bitcoin that we were getting paid. Then NiceHash got hacked, and it became a little more hard. We were getting paid out in litecoin instead, and then I would have to convert it on an exchange. So I stopped keeping track of daily transactions. But every time we got a payout to our Electrum wallet, I would enter that into our little spreadsheet here. So the next thing I look at is every month we have to make a payment to our power company. So I make a withdrawal in Bitcoin to an exchange, so we can see our power cost here is $147.34. Now that is a fixed rate that I have calculated from the power usage of the miners, and we have a fixed rate on our power costs. So I can always work out exactly how much Bitcoin we need to withdraw every month to pay off the power bill exactly. So looking at our spreadsheet here, the first thing I want to do is make sure our power costs are covered for the month of February. So I'm going to go over to Quadriga here, and we're going to fund our Quadriga CX account. So I'm paying to this address, and this is going to be $147.34. That is our monthly costs to pay for power, and that will cover the last month and the next 10 days or so. We're going to hit send on that with a moderate fee so that it gets there in relatively quick time. Awesome. So on here, in a few minutes, we should see it update, and there it is. So I know that we have money coming into the account, and now I can work out exactly how much I need to distribute in order to pay off all of our investors evenly. So after I've made that transaction, the next thing I do is I'll just enter it into our transparent payment tracker to let the investors know that that amount was withdrawn to cover the costs of power. In this box right here where I have the sold all 4, I usually link this Giazo screenshot to the actual transaction. So it's somewhat like a little receipt, you know, just being as transparent as possible for our investors here. So in this box here, I've just added a small calculation to estimate exactly how much Bitcoin we should have in the wallet after the amount that gets withdrawn is actually confirmed on the blockchain network. Okay, so from this amount of Bitcoin right here, I can then make a calculation using this other spreadsheet here where we have percentage of total costs. So this is essentially the investor stake in the Bitcoin mining farm, and I will split this amount based on these percentages right here. All right, so what I want to do to make this final calculation is I need to include a fee that I take off the total before I then split up everyone's payment equally. That way everyone is paying the same fee to send Bitcoin to themselves. So what I'm going to be doing is checking out the transaction we just made and seeing the fee on there. So it's 1713, that's 1713 Satoshis. Now, since we're emptying our wallet, the transaction fee is going to be higher, so I'm just going to double that amount. Okay, so that's our fee. Take out a notepad here, and then we go to our new total, which is this, minus. Now, this is the number that I'm going to be splitting among all the stakeholders, and then I'll enter them into our spreadsheet here. So I take the amount after the transaction fee and I multiply it by 46.79%. Okay, so these are all the Bitcoin amounts that I have to send to the different investors. And now we go over and we will create a transaction once this transaction gets confirmed. Okay, so as you can see here, our transaction to Quadriga for our power has received one confirmation, so I can start to create our transaction to pay out our investors. Now we go over to tools, I can pay to many. Now this little information field tells me exactly how to create a transaction where I can pay to many different Bitcoin addresses. In this case, we're going to be paying to 3 different addresses. One is myself, one is another investor, and one is Quadriga for the investors that want to be paid out in Canadian dollar. So the first thing we do is Quadriga is going to be the first one that we pay out to. So I'm going to copy that address. We're going to paste it, comma, and then the amount that we need is actually... Okay, so now the third investor I need to pay out is myself. So we're going to be paying this amount to myself. So we go over to our form here, hit paste on that. We want to put a space and then a comma, and then the address that we want to pay to before that. So I'm going to go over here to my wallet. We're going to hit receive. I'm going to receive it to a new Bitcoin address. And we're going to paste that before the amount on the form here. So this should be our full payment. I'm ready to send the payment out, and what this is going to do is completely empty the Electrum wallet and hopefully send the total amount out to all of our investors and part of it out to the Quadriga coin exchange. So we hit send, we enter our password. It signs the transaction. That means we entered our password correctly and the payment was sent. All right, guys, so our payment was confirmed. This is good since I put an extremely small fee on the transaction. I was a little worried that it would be stuck, but it seems to have gone through without a hitch. So the next thing I have to do is wait for our confirmations on the blockchain network to where Quadriga will release the funds to us. We can then trade the Bitcoin for Canadian dollars. And then from there, I can essentially wire the money to my personal bank account. From there, I'll look at the power costs and the amount to split between the 2 investors that wanted Canadian dollars, and I'll just send them an e-transfer via email that will automatically transfer the money into their bank accounts. For us investors that wanted to be paid out in Bitcoin specifically, we should receive our payments within the next 30 to 40 minutes. Exodus, from my experience, has waited a few confirmations to show your transaction within their wallet. I'm also having this P2P network issue, but the transaction should eventually show up and I should be credited with my Bitcoin. So now the next step for me is to enter in all the receipts and little information on our transparent payment tracker so that our investors can see exactly what is happening with their money and when they're going to get their funds. So all this manual back-end accounting is essentially what a mining pool is set up to do automatically, where they slowly credit your account with the Bitcoin that you are owed, and then at any point in time you can withdraw to your own personal wallet the amount that has been credited to your account. So I know this is all a bit confusing, especially if you didn't make the forms yourself. But what I can do now is if I set up a new miner and I want to have a new bunch of investors join, I can just copy paste this folder over to, say, a Garage Miner Project 2, and then use the same forms and the same format to pay out those investors also. This is good just because of expandability reasons. It means I could fill that entire shelf up with miners and still be able to do all the accounting in the background and figure out exactly who I owe and what I owe to different people. Okay guys, so here we are, we're on Quadriga CX and we have our Bitcoin funded to us. Now I just put in a sell order. Now I've only put in a sell order for an amount that was $1 less than the last person was willing to sell for. And as you can see now, there's another person trying to compete with me to sell their Bitcoin. So we're waiting for a buyer essentially to buy our Bitcoin on the exchange. We've already sold $50 worth, but we have another, I'm not even sure which one is us anymore. I think this one is 446.60. This one is how much we have left to sell on the account. And it's an open order. So there it goes. Looks like, yeah, we sold all of our Bitcoin at 12,432 Canadian dollars. So now on the exchange, we head over to withdraw and we end up on this page. We're going to be using an EFT to withdraw the Canadian dollars to my bank account. Now that's essentially like a wire transfer, but with a lower fee. So this is free on this exchange. And it says within 10 business days, so we hit select on there, and then on this page I enter all of my financial information, and in a couple weeks here we will get $494 sent to my bank account, and then I can forward that money on to the investors and to pay for the power bill. Over on our Exodus wallet, I still haven't received the funds here, so I'm gonna just refresh and rescan the blockchain history, and then our transaction should show up and I should receive my Bitcoin to this account. And there we go guys, after rescanning the blockchain here, I've received the Bitcoin I sent myself, and that is $569.68. Very happy with this. I should probably, and what I'm actually going to do is diversify a little bit. I'm going to buy some Litecoin. It's been doing pretty well recently. Let's go have a look at the page here. Coin market cap. Yeah, let's see what we should diversify my profile into. So Litecoin's had a huge drop off today, so I'm going to buy a little bit of that. We got a little tiny bit of dash up there, and I'm going to be buying Litecoin. Perfect. Let's buy 400 worth and hit exchange. Now this is the Shapeshift exchange built inside Exodus. I actually made a video about that, so go ahead and check out that video. It'll come up right in the corner of your screen there if you want to learn about the Exodus wallet. So as I was editing the video, I realized that I actually forgot to do the outro, so here it is. I just want to talk about the fact that we have a Facebook fan page. If you want to join that, just look up on Facebook. It's Joe Potentier, same as the channel name. I also have a Twitter. I interact with people all the time on here, so if you want to contact me in any way, Twitter is probably the best way to do so. We also have a podcast out through anchor.fm. Now this is a website and an app where I can easily create podcasts just on my phone if I ever have a spare half hour. So it's really convenient for me. You can subscribe on anchor.fm/blockchainbash if you're interested. And to go along with the podcast, we've also set up a Instagram where I will be posting hopefully daily content on cryptocurrencies, different token showcases, crypto news, and market cap updates. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have yourself a great day.